Politics now. With just 5 days until the presidential election, the race simply could not be closer. So why is one powerful group using a little-known law that allows them to challenge the right of their fellow citizens to vote? They say they are fighting voter fraud. Critics say it's voter suppression, specifically of minorities. ABC's Dan Harris set out to investigate. For your voice, your vote.
TERESA Sharp is a grandmother who says she's voted in every election since she was 18. She's even served as a poll worker.
Voting to me is like sacred.
So imagine her surprise when she got this letter in the mail.
Dear Mrs. Sharp, you are hereby notified that your right to vote has been challenged by a qualified elector under RC 3503.24, whatever that is.
Her sons, Christopher and Herbert Jr., also received similar letters. So did her daughters, Asenath and Eleanor, and her elderly aunt, too.
There's somebody out here trying to scare people into not voting.
But who? Who prompted the county government to send out these letters? The answer? A grassroots organization called True the Vote. True the Vote believes voter fraud is a sweeping national epidemic. These are their recruitment videos.
Willful, fraudulent behavior.
People voting who were not the people who they said they were.
True the Vote has enlisted and trained an army of citizen volunteers to challenge voters in the name of what they call voter integrity. It sounds admirable, even patriotic. But TERESA and other Democrats say it's not about voter integrity, but about voter suppression, specifically trying to intimidate low-income people, minorities, and students who might vote for President Obama.
They basically want to say black people are dumb. No, we're not.
We set out to learn about True the Vote. We found out that its founder and leader is this woman, ENGELBRECT, who travels the country speaking about how voter fraud is a hidden menace threatening the fabric of our democracy. In light of all the controversy, she agreed to sit down with us for her first national television interview. Is your goal really to end voter fraud, or is your goal really to intimidate voters who disagree with you politically and scare them away from the polls?
Our goal really is to encourage citizens to get involved in the process. It has been a continued shock and disappointment, frankly, to hear these allegations that continue to be leveled at us. It's unfortunate that there are those that have tried to take this and twist it into something that it's not.
ENGELBRECT started True the Vote 3 years ago after serving as a poll watcher in Houston, and she says witnessing things that disturbed her.
We recognize something's not quite right.
They are doing a community service, they say, by making sure there's no voter fraud.
Right. Just the poor black neighborhoods, right? Everybody else is clean. You know, we're the dirty people. We're the fraudulent folks.
She smells a rat here. She feels like she's being targeted because she's black.
TERESA Sharp has nothing to worry about because our citizens go into this race blind, party blind.
You are not in any way directly targeting these communities.
No, absolutely not. I mean, this is literally nothing more than citizens doing what is legally allowed, what anyone can do, in an effort to better our overall process. And there's nothing more to it than that. ENGELBRECT insists her group is nonpartisan, just as the videos claim.
True the Vote is a nonpartisan initiative developed by citizens for citizens.
But you yourself run a Tea Party group.
Right.
Your organization has been recently shown to have donated $5,000 to a Republican organization. That doesn't sound nonpartisan.
Well, you've lined up a lot of things there, and I make no bones about the fact that we have a separate organization. True the Vote, though, has continued to be, and will always be, nonpartisan. We all should be able to agree about election integrity. And then there's this. The group says it is now mobilizing 1 million poll watchers to go to voting places around the country this coming Tuesday. These are their recruiting and training videos. The problem, critics say, is that those poll watchers are mostly white, and many of the polling places they will target are mostly black. It happened in Texas back in 2010.
I think it's just coming from that particular party trying to intimidate the voters.
How do you respond to those complaints?
We take those very seriously, and we look into them. Here in Houston, You can talk to our county attorney, who will tell you that they are all completely unfounded.
So we did actually talk to the county attorney, and he said he found several legitimate complaints. He also said that when he went to your offices, he saw evidence that you were specifically targeting minority neighborhoods.
Really?
So what did you find? Were these people being disruptive?
Some of them were very, very disruptive.
Was there a racial component here?
Well, I hate to attach that, but it does appear that there was that.
The county attorney's office directed us to this early voting place in Houston, where we spotted these poll watchers in a predominantly black neighborhood. This was just last week, and the complaints had already begun.
They're trying to find any and everything to stop the citizens from voting.
But here's the twist. Study after study has found voter fraud to be virtually non-existent. There was one study that found that voter fraud happens about as much as people getting hit and killed by lightning, and another study in 2005 that showed that the federal government was charging more Americans with violating migratory bird statutes than election fraud.
What we've experienced suggests that there's room for improvement.
Has your system turned up one clear-cut case that you can name right now of obvious fraud?
I think the last thing that we turned in to the counties, that we actually turned in, I think were 33 names. However, we're looking at close to 2,000 that have almost identical matches.
But even if all 2,000 cases turn out to be outright obvious fraud, that's 2,000 cases in a country where tens of millions of people vote.
Well, I mean, it's the same country that in 2000 elected a president based on 537 votes.
Lots of people agree with her, and they will be flooding the polling places across the country this election day. As for TERESA Sharp, the county threw out the challenge against her, and just the other day she voted early without incident.
Too many people sacrificed their life for me to have that opportunity.
For Nightline, this is Dan Harris in Hamilton County, Ohio.